If you're dealing with fear, this is a video you should watch because I am talking about fear and where fear comes from, 5 different common places that fear comes from, and then we're going to talk about how you can move through that fear so that you can be in a space where fear isn't holding you back. So my name is Crystal Turner. I am a psychiatric nurse practitioner who has gone holistic because I know to be whole is to be healed. And fear is what I've been talking about the last few videos that I've made, because fear is really an emotion that it can really hold you back. It can keep you from experiencing a beautiful life. It can keep you from experiencing whole and healthy relationships, and it can keep you from having a healthy relationship with yourself and the world. So we're going to talk about these ways that fear has crept its way into your life. So you're not just thinking that there's just something wrong with you, because everything has a reason. Everything comes from something. Every cause has an effect. So there is a cause for the effect of having fear currently, if this is what your experience is. So first place that fear commonly comes from for many people is having a childhood where there was a level of abuse or trauma, especially from someone older in your life. And if the first place I think about this is in the household. If your caretakers were abusive or you had older siblings who were abusive, this can set the foundation for having fear, because you're put in place situations, more than likely if you're being abused, that you are afraid. And as that continues to happen, if that's a repetitive situation that you're in, or if you are in a very intense situation when you're young, and these things are never processed, you never feel like anyone is there to protect you, then it can cause you to walk in life first in that situation in a way that you feel you have to protect yourself, rightfully so. But you can take on this same pattern of behavior throughout the course of life. It can become the way that you see the world. Oftentimes, the way that we see the world starts through the lens of the home that we were raised in. And so I grew up in a home with abuse, with domestic abuse going on, and it definitely impacted my sense of safety. And I found myself worrying oftentimes about my mom, even though back then I didn't even put the connection that I worried about her because of this, but I would often find myself worrying about something happening to my mom. And that sense of worry, I think, became a pattern that carried into, other facets of life experiences, where worry is the way that I would approach many situations, from this place of uncertainty and fear that something terrible could happen. This is rooted in fear. Also, what I've come to see is a lot of clients that I've seen in the past, even if they have grown up in a home where there wasn't physical abuse, if they had parents who argued and yelled a lot, many people carry anxiety today, and there's a strong association with being in an environment where the temperament or the tone was anger or aggressive, even if no one was physically hurt. So that's number one. I'm looking at my notes because today has just been a long day and my mind is like ready to shut it down. So second is generational fear that's passed down through systemic oppression. So really systemic oppression. So we live in societies where there are systems, and in some societies, the systems are oppressive, and there is a lot of a messaging that you can get through the media that tells you about who you are, or news that incites fear. So when we talk about systems and the system that they have set up in terms of what is televised to you, if there's a lot of fear in that, this is a way that you can be subconsciously fed fear. But also to be in an environment where people who look like you, for example, you're seeing that they are treated in ways that are abusive. This can be a way that fear gets fed to you, because you see someone who looks like you see the commonality in the people who are being abused and your way that you are common to them, and how this can impact your safety and how safe you feel in a society. Or if you're in a system and you have been abused, if you've been terrorized, or if you've been harassed by police officers or law enforcement of any form, I mean, you recognize that the system doesn't seem to really defend you or really be there to look out for you. This can cause a lot of anxiety and fear, just to know that you're in a system that is not treating you safe, not treating you equal, not treating you adequately, and this can really hamper your ability to feel safe in a system. And it can be a root of many people's fear, especially if you're someone who, when you were younger, you grew up seeing people in higher roles mistreating people who look like you or people from your community. So for Black people, this is huge. And for many people of color, but Black people, this is very much a huge issue that has been, especially when you look at poorer communities, and how people are not respected and how people are mistreated. It can give you a sense of fear that you are not safe in those environments. So yeah, that is big. We never really think about how our systems are impacting us as a whole, or how long the system has had this power over how you're viewing yourself and how you're viewing life and how you view safety and protection. And then we're going to talk about religious manipulation or religious trauma. While we can say that religion is there, many people subscribe to religion and they feel religion is healthy and religion has, a good purpose. There are many people who have had bad experiences through religious trauma. And oftentimes it can be where you are encouraged to practice a particular religion and fear is used, the fear that you will go to hell if you don't do the practices or practice this particular specific way of practicing, that you will go to hell, that you will burn, or whatever the beliefs are, that the ramifications are. There's a strong association with punishment when it comes to many religions, and if you're not abiding to that particular religion, or even the religions that tell you that you're unworthy, that you're not worth a thing, or you're fed stories about how pain and experiences of people in that text had experienced things, and when this is used in very literal ways, this can be something that causes people to be fearful, and it can cause you to make decisions from that fear, even if it's not necessarily something that is an authentic reason for why you would choose to do that thing. It could be fear that's motivating you. So you're doing this thing because you're afraid that if you don't do it, what are the outcomes going to be? The fear of what those outcomes will be. So oftentimes we are doing things based on fear, and it's not even really aligning with the truth of who we are, the truth of what you feel really deep down, or even giving you the opportunity to search what is truthful for you or what makes sense for you, because that fear won't let you step out of that box. And oftentimes in many religious systems, this becomes the issue that people experience. And then it is past emotional abandonment and rejection. So many people are afraid and have a fear of being rejected. So the base of the fear is being abandoned or being rejected. And when we are afraid of being abandoned and rejected, then you can really take a lot of energy in preventing being abandoned or being rejected. So imagine the tap dance you have to do to feel accepted. It can really be something that takes you out of who it is that you really are. It takes you away from who you are authentically, because you're performing, you're anxiously performing because you want to be accepted and have community. And it's understandable to want to have community as humans. We want to have connections, but it's healthy connections that really are the thing that sustain us and help to encourage us and help us to grow to be even better people. So often if we are performing and in relationships where we have to do that, there could be a strong possibility that these are not actually healthy relationships. And then we are looking at our last place that fear comes from, and that would be from cultural expectations of being strong or being unshakable. So basically, to show any type of softness is looked at as being weak. So it's important to show up strong. And this fear that if you are vulnerable, this fear of if you express yourself through crying or express yourself through discussing what is hurtful or painful, that this is looked at as a weakness. And I think this is a big problem in our spaces when we're in leadership, when we're in healing spaces. We're expected to be perfect. And perfect looks like not having any emotion that seems more vulnerable, softer. It's not the aggressive behavior. It's not the aggressive emotion or that strong Black woman, that strong Black man type of emotion. It is the emotions where we need to discuss something or process how we feel, or we were hurt about a situation. These things are looked at as being weak. Many people can have a fear of showing up authentically. But the truth of the matter is, we all have more emotions than just these emotions of I don't want to say strength, but the emotions of being brave or being courageous, or the behaviors of being these ways. We're not one dimensional. We also have emotions that are sadness. We have emotions that are disappointment or being hurt. So it's important to be able to express all of these emotions, because we can fool someone on the outside of us, but when we stuff our emotions down, that's going to come out of us in some way. Sometimes it comes out of us in the form of illness or exhaustion or mental health issues. But we have to have a way to move that energy. And it's important to be in spaces where you're able to be truthfully who you are. You can be that person who shows up, who is outspoken and, can express anger, but you should also be in spaces where you're able to express your sadness, express your hurts, express your worry, and it's safe to do that, so that energy can move through you and not get stuck within you. So those are the 5 ways that I have noticed that fear creeps up into our life. If you recognize any of these, I would like for you to put it in the comment section. Which of these areas of experiences do you feel like has impacted the fear that you carry? I would also like for you to like and subscribe to this, like this video, and subscribe to this channel as I continue to grow this channel to have a space where we can really talk about our emotional experiences, how we can grow through our emotional pain, how we can evolve through even difficult experiences, mind, body, and spirit. I'll see you next video. Bye.